here. The Raiders.
Sell me on this one.
The Raiders coming off of a huge victory against the Ravens. I saw the press, I saw the locker room chat and the cigars or whatever the heck they were doing. And sometimes when you see a team celebrate a little too hard, hey, it comes back to bite you in the butt. And so I think that's exactly what happened. You play a team like the Ravens, you get a victory like that, you feel great, you celebrate the victory. Now you're going up against a team that's not lost, but has changed its starting quarterback from Bryce Young to
Andy Dalton.
Andy Dalton, the Red Rocket, Andy Dalton, former Cincinnati Bengals quarterback. And you're thinking, we're going home. Great opportunity. I mean, I thought they would win. Great opportunity to put a win up there. Panthers are in shambles, switching quarterbacks. And then, little do you know that Andy Dalton was in the hyperbolic time chamber waiting to burst out of that thing with the smoke coming around, all from out around him. He goes out there and he plays a classic, 2017, 2018
Yep.
Andy Dalton game. And has a great game. The first drive. They went out
That's
there
when
and
you knew it was over.
yeah, it's like
That's when you
run,
knew it was
throw,
over.
bang, bang, touchdown. I'm like, what the hell just happened? Like, the Raiders were not ready at all. They found themselves behind very early on in the game, and they could not find a way to get back in it. I'm going to try to pull up the stats while I do that. B, did you get a chance to catch any of the game? I know it wasn't very interesting to you.
I watched that one. I watched Andy Dalton go old school Cincinnati Bengals all over the Raiders defense here.
Oh,
Bro,
my
the guy
gosh.
had all sorts of time to throw. And when he
Yes.
threw it, he was dropping dimes in there. The throw to Adam Thielen, who unfortunately Adam Thielen got hurt, scoring that touchdown and was done for the rest of the game. But that was a hell of a throw.
Yeah.
That was a hell of a throw there. I think this was the best move for the Carolina Panthers to make. Bryce Young, hey man, take a quick break. They gotta. This is still the future for the Panthers, but you got to get your team some sort of a sprint here. And so having Andy Dalton go into Las Vegas, beat the Raiders here, like you said, the Raiders just got done beating the Ravens, and they were down in that game. They found themselves down really quick in this game, and they never recovered. Like, Carolina was just putting it on them all day long.
The Panthers came in with a new attitude. The new quarterback obviously gave their team life. Dude, we were getting ran on by a guy named Chubba Hubbard. Chubba Hubbard.
That sounds like a piece of bubble gum.
Exactly. It sounds like a can of beans from the 1920s. And they, they didn't have an answer. We could not stop the run. Dante Johnson, who isn't on anybody's radar, go check your fantasy league team right now.
Because he ain't on nobody's team,
right.
I'll tell you that.
Dante Johnson, eight receptions, 122 yards, and 1 TD. I might go pick him up after this. This is just a prime example of a team that is still learning and still going through the process. I find it interesting that the Raiders bring in Aiden O'Connell at the end of the game, who goes 9 for 12 and scores a touchdown. Does this open the door? Do you think a lot? I think after the win the Ravens, I'm still going to give Gardner Minshew a game or two. But does this open the door for Aiden O'Connell to possibly get back in as the starting quarterback?
100% it does. 100% it does. You making that move, you're not trying to preserve your quarterback. You're like, okay,
let me see something.
Well, let me see something from you, AOC. He goes in, leads him down to a touchdown. Like I said, I think at the beginning of the season, he earned the starting job just by what he was able to do towards the end of the year.
Yeah.
But the one thing you've seen with the Raiders over the last 3 games is how slow they have gotten off in these games here. They're not firing right away. They're having to get it going past halftime. They're just not hitting their stride the minute the ball's kicked off.
Yeah.
And so by the time that happens against really good teams, and I'm not saying the Panthers are a really good team, but once you're down big, 2 scores feels like 4 scores.
Yeah.
Because now you're having a press. And so the Raiders are just finding themselves in these positions here every game where these slow starts are hurting them. And if it's Gardner Minshew that's doing that, you may want to start thinking Aiden O'Connell to kind of pick things up for you.
Yeah, and we talked about it in the preseason, the last game where they were trying to figure out who was going to be the starter. And I pulled up the numbers, and Aiden O'Connell had better numbers. Now, he didn't throw for as many yards as Gardner Minshew has, but he was a lot more efficient. And I think for this Raiders team, the bottom line is you don't have a Pro Bowl quarterback on your roster. So the idea that you're going to throw somebody out there and they're going to throw for 300 or 400 yards, it's just not happening. It's not
No.
happening. So we need to get rid of that idea. You don't need to have a guy go out there and throw the ball 50 times a game because that's not what suits what you're trying to do anyway. It's better. I think it's better to have Aiden O'Connell in there who can at least manage a game. He's not going to throw the ball as much, but he's going to go through the reads. He's going to find the check down. He's not going to try to make any spectacular play, but he's going to get it to the guy that's open, and you're just going to live with the results. Gardner Minshew, he's struggled. He's thrown some interceptions. In his defense, he's been under duress some too, but it just hasn't, it hasn't panned out. And
Yeah.
I don't, I don't think that Gardner Minshew is the answer. And I think that Aiden O'Connell at least still has some room to grow versus Gardner Minshew. This is what he is. He's a career backup quarterback. You know what I mean? So I'll give him a game of one or two more games maybe and see how he plays. But in a game against the Panthers where you're back at home, you need the win. I mean, you got to get a little bit more from your offense. And I'm not saying that if they had scored 30, they might have still lost. But give me something.
But this is how important the Raiders game was today. You could have been 2-1.
Yeah.
And if the Chiefs go down today, not saying that first place is first place. It doesn't matter what week of the season is. You need momentum here.
Right.
That puts you at the top of the division with teams like the Chiefs here. And the Chargers lost today too.
Yeah.
So you had every opportunity to put yourself right in that mix. And now you're back 1-2 here. So again, is it safe to hit the panic button? I think when you're the Raiders, absolutely it is, because of how you need to get this season going here. Any wins you can get, you've got to go and get them here.
Yeah.
You're not like a team like Baltimore who can go 0-2, but run off 6 straight because of the roster that you have. You don't have that luxury. You have to play every game like it's week 17 and you're fighting for your playoff spot.
Right. Absolutely.